Did Pharrell just diss Drake on a song for a children's movie? Song for the Despicable Me 4 soundtrack. Yes, this is real life right now. Pharrell said, "Some of your dirt has come to light. Lie detector time. Hey, what are you hiding? Nothing wrong being private. Make sure it ain't wrong." Now, if you heard any of Kendrick's songs during the battle, you would know that certain things did get mentioned in those songs were pretty disturbing. Now, whether or not all of it's true, that's for another video. But why in the world are Pharrell and Drake beefing?
Drake and Pharrell Williams have a beef that stems from the Pusha T era. Pusha T always been affiliated. Last year, during the Louis Vuitton show, because remember Virgil Abloh died, creative director now is Pharrell Williams. During the Louis Vuitton show, remember, they premiered a Pusha T song where he was dissing Jim Jones and dissing Drake.
Here. This was interesting. So Pharrell has officially, subliminally responded to Drake. And he did it in the most Pharrell way possible, which is on the Despicable Me 4 soundtrack. Shout out to Despicable Me, by the way. That's one of my favorite animated series or whatever you want to call it. Apparently, Pharrell has worked with Despicable Me for years and years, and he released a track called Double Life. Now, this is interesting because in the actual Despicable Me movie, Gru, which is the main character, the big tall guy, he leads a double life. He has this secret life where he's this, he used to be a villain, then he turned into a good guy because of the kids that he I think he adopted, if I remember in the first Despicable Me. I don't know if he adopted him or, I think he adopted him. But yeah, he used to be this evil guy, then he turned into the guy fighting for good. So Pharrell in the track is pretty much saying Drake is living a double life.
Pharrell Williams just dropped a huge surprise aimed directly at Drake, and fans are buzzing about it. The legendary producer released a new track that many believe takes some serious shots at the Canadian rapper. Pharrell didn't hold back, calling out Drake for living a double-sided life and weaving a web of lies, but the real shocker, Pharrell called Drake a culture vulture. For some fans, this moment has been a long time coming. They've been waiting for Pharrell to speak up about Drake, and it's clear that Pharrell's been holding on to some serious frustration. So, how did Drake respond, and why did Pharrell go after him in the first place? Let's break it down. After the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef, which many think Kendrick won, though there are still some who believe Drake had the upper hand, Pharrell seems to be enjoying a little victory lap. In his new music video, he's seen driving a car and subtly calling out Drake's secrets, hinting that maybe Drake should learn to keep things more private like Pharrell does. It's clear Pharrell has some things to reveal, and he's just getting started. The fact that Pharrell of all people took a jab at Drake was totally unexpected, and what makes it even more interesting is that he did it in a children's song. Pharrell, who's best known for his work with the Neptunes, just dropped a track called Double Life for the Despicable Me 4 soundtrack, and the lyrics have fans raising their eyebrows. In the first verse, Pharrell raps, "Hey, what are you hiding? What do you do when you're gone? Nothing wrong with being private. Just make sure it ain't wrong. Your life double-sided, two-faced like coins. What side do I get? What side are you on?" Then, in the second verse, he sings, "Lie detector time, do you feel bad when you lie?" The pre-chorus has even more people thinking Pharrell's calling out Drake, "What have you done? Some of your dirt has come to light. Why were you speeding up that hill until the brakes came off and someone saw you in a fight?" Fans on social media are pretty convinced that these lines are aimed straight at Drake, especially after his own personal drama was exposed during his beef with Kendrick Lamar. Take the lie detector line, for instance. Some fans think Pharrell might be referencing Drake allegedly lying about certain claims in his feud with Kendrick. For example, Drake accused Baby Keem of ghostwriting for Kendrick, claimed that Dave Free was the biological father of Kendrick's kids, and even said he fed Kendrick false info. But many fans have pointed out how those claims didn't quite add up, suggesting they were just lies to discredit Kendrick. As for the line about someone seeing Drake in a fight, fans think it could be a nod to Drake's infamous altercations, including the long-standing beef with Chris Brown. What do you think? Is Pharrell right about Drake? Is he really a culture vulture? And how do you think Drake will respond? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, make sure to check out more of our videos for all the latest updates on this drama. Pharrell's latest track has caused a huge stir, especially with his direct shots at Drake. In the third verse, Pharrell raps, "Sorry, but you have to choose a side. You'll never know when it's your time to go and where you end up in life. That's cold. You can't ignore you're spending your life. Your watch is broken cause you spent all your time. It's now or never. Unless everything writes before the spinning stops. You must pick a side." Fans quickly notice that these lyrics seem to point directly at Drake, possibly referencing some of the accusations against him. For example, Kendrick Lamar had previously claimed Drake slept with one of Lil Wayne's girls while Wayne was locked up. Pharrell's lyrics suggest Drake might be hiding his true self behind the public persona he's built. The line "you'll never know when it's your time to go" feels like Pharrell's way of reminding Drake that life is short and he needs to think carefully about how he lives. Pharrell seems to be telling Drake to pick a side, live better, and choose wisely how he'll be remembered. But the big question is, why did Pharrell come at Drake like this? To get a better understanding, we need to take it back to the early 2000s. In 2002, Drake was still trying to make a name for himself and share his music, but he wasn't the global star he is today. Back then, he was even laughed at by some people in the industry. The tension between Pharrell and Drake's camp started after a fallout between the Neptunes and Birdman. The Neptunes had produced a track for Birdman, but reports say they never got paid, which led to bad blood between them and Cash Money. Things heated up in 2005 when Lil Wayne asked Pharrell for some Billionaire Boys Club merchandise for a video, but Pharrell, still upset with Birdman, turned Wayne down. Lil Wayne didn't back down though. He bought the gear himself and wore it in his video as a subtle diss. Then, in 2006, Lil Wayne appeared on the cover of Vibe magazine wearing Bape, another brand Pharrell was known for. Pharrell didn't take this lightly and responded with a diss track, Mr. Me Too, by clips where they took shots at Wayne saying, "Want to know the time? Better clock us. NS bite the style from the shoes to the watches." Lil Wayne didn't care much about the diss track. In a complex interview, he fired back saying, "Talk to me like you're talking to the best. I don't see no fin clips. Wheezy, man, they had to do a song with us to get hot. What happened to that boy? Come on, B. Who the F is Pharrell? Do you really respect him? That N-wore Bape. And why all thought he was weird. I wore it. And why all thought it was hot." So, the tension between Pharrell, Wayne, and now Drake has been building for years, and Pharrell's new track just added more fuel to the fire. Do you think Pharrell is really calling out Drake? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. In 2001, Clip signed with Arista Records through the Star Trek Entertainment label founded by the Neptunes. After Pusha T's brother No Malice upset Lil Wayne, Pusha started targeting Drake as revenge for Wayne. At the time, Drake was signed to Lil Wayne's Young Money, which is part of Cash Money Records, making him a rival. This rivalry was passed down from their mentors, and Pusha didn't hold back, dropping diss tracks like the story of Adidon. It was only a matter of time before Drake would address the tension himself. Fast forward to 2022, when Pharrell hosted the Jupiter auction, launching the world's first global auction house and online content platform. To celebrate, Pharrell auctioned off some of his most iconic items, including a $150,000 Nerd Brain pendant and a $13,750 skateboard pendant chain. One of the most eye-catching pieces was the Nerd Characters pendant chain, which went for $284,000. Most of these items were bought by an anonymous buyer, and fans didn't dig too deep into who bought them since the proceeds were for a good cause. In 2023, Pharrell took over as the creative director for Louis Vuitton, a position once held by Virgil Abloh, but not everyone was excited about it. Drake wasn't too happy. In the music video for Jumbotron, Dollar Poppin', Drake revealed that he had bought those very pieces from Pharrell's auction. But don't be fooled, Drake wasn't buying them out of respect for Pharrell's legacy. Instead, he was being petty. He used the items as a power move, even referencing them again in his song Meltdown with Travis Scott, saying, "I melt down the chains that I bought from your boss, give AFK about all of that heritage dollar." Drake's message was clear. He didn't care about Pharrell's iconic pieces or his legacy. He also took shots at Pharrell's appointment to Louis Vuitton, implying it wasn't the right decision. In his track, he rapped, "V's not around, the members done hung up the Louis, they not even wearing that stuff." Pharrell stayed silent, but Pusha T aka Dot wasn't about to let it slide. He fired back in his diss track Euphoria, rapping, "I don't like you popping stuff at Pharrell. For him, I inherit the beef. Yeah, FK all that, pushing P, let me see you Pusha T." Pusha's line was a warning to Drake, don't mess with Pharrell or there will be consequences, but Drake didn't listen. He kept the beef going with his track Family Matters, where he rapped West Coast and words, "Do fades right, come get this whooping, I'm handing them out you want to take up for Pharrell, then come get his legacy out of my house." In the video, Drake even flaunted Pharrell's jewelry, bringing his ex-accountant turned assistant, Jugu, to show it off. While Pharrell stayed quiet for most of this drama, he finally spoke out in his GQ Man of the Year interview. When asked about Drake buying his items and mentioning them in his lyrics, Pharrell said, "I think beyond all of the ongoings, at the heart of all of it, he's a fan of music. He's a fan of the history of what it is, and I happen to be a part of that, and those artifacts are a part of it." Pharrell made it clear that he wasn't bothered by Drake's diss or the attention. In fact, he seemed relieved. He sold the items. You never realize how much all the stuff you have weighs on you, but it does. You don't know it until you get rid of it. When you let things go, a huge part of it is actually letting go, not just of the physical item, but letting go of your connection to what it's supposed to mean or the memory. You're literally letting them go. That was the purpose. Pharrell even compared the sale to letting go of something you're attached to, saying, "You want to make sure you take care of it because this is my baby." But I'm like, no, this is not my baby. That's why I'm letting it go. But even with all that, Pharrell didn't hold back on Drake, calling him a culture vulture, a label Drake has often been accused of, especially after Pusha T's famous diss where he took away Drake's N-word privileges. This drama continues to show the deep tensions in the hip-hop world. Even though Pharrell took a calm approach and didn't let Drake's jabs get to him, Pusha T and others are still holding strong. It's clear the beef between these artists isn't going away anytime soon, and the back and forth is likely to continue.
Drake fan, Kendrick fan, anybody. The way that Drake responds to being able to say the word, you know what I'm saying? How do you defend that? You either double down and say how black you are, which is weird, or you completely ignore it, as Drake often has. Everybody reacted to this Drake line. Metro, shut your ass up and make some drums, nigga. It was hilarious. But now everybody's reacting to this Kendrick line. I even hate the way you say the word, but that's just me.
Drake's mixed heritage has always been a topic of conversation, especially when it comes to his use of the N-word, but the label culture Vulture digs much deeper. Some people feel that Drake takes young, up-and-coming black artists under his wing, borrows their style, and then discards them once he's gotten what he needs. Just ask Earl Sweatshirt. It's tough for fans who used to admire him, but over time, his actions have raised some questions. Many feel like Drake only claims black culture when it benefits him. The beef between Kendrick Lamar and Drake shows that some people still aren't getting it. In Kendrick's track Euphoria, he says, "You can't say underscore 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 more," and some fans immediately pointed to Drake's biracial background. But it's not about race, it's about how Drake only embraces his blackness when it works to his advantage. This isn't the first time Drake has acted this way. Just last year, he made a controversial comment saying, "Whipped in chains like you American slaves." It's hard to understand how someone who claims to be pro-black would make statements like that. And then, just when it seemed like the year was winding down, Pharrell added even more fuel to the fire. Fans agree that Pharrell made a powerful point. For years, people have accused Drake of being a culture vulture, and now it seems like he's finally facing the consequences. So, what do you think? Is Drake really a culture vulture? Did Pharrell diss him? Do you think Drake will respond? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to check out more videos on our channel.